In terms of regret and looking back on Faith's journey and her view on that, um, I would offer that both her mom and I and Faith, together, the three of us, and then one on one, we all talked about it multiple times through the 13 years that she experienced all this. And I think that the right place to start is with her mom and I, because we made the initial decisions, right? I mean, we made all the decisions. And when we were first diagnosed with cancer, um, because of the nature of the location of the osteosarcoma, and what we were told is, standard protocol for osteosarcoma back then in 2007, which still actually blows my mind that this was the common protocol even in 2007. It sounds so Civil War-ish. Was normally, because it affects legs or arms, typically big bones, the common standard protocol was to go to the next joint up, amputate, chemo, radiate. And that truly just, I'll never forget, in September of 2007, her mom and I are at the hospital, and they're telling us this is the protocol. Our minds are like, how do you wrap your head around that's still what we're doing? We're just cutting off limbs, right? And then, of course, they went on to explain, well, we can't do that because it's in her spine. And they immediately started talking palliative hospice care at that point. That was the very first direction. And that's when I told them, I'm like, that's unacceptable. I don't believe in can't. And we're going to come back in a week and you're going to have options for us. And so her mom and I came back up, we started talking through these options. And of course, they gave us all the warnings, and there was multiple warnings along the way. There was multiple procedures, multiple situations that were going. At one point, I remember when we were in Boston, her mom and I had to give approval for the radiation, and because the location, even though it was specialized radiation to where it wasn't whole body, it was very specific, and it was still going to take a chance of sterilizing her. It was going to hit her ovaries, and we had to make that decision. Do we try to save her and prolong her life? But we're going to, decrease the likelihood of her being a mom. And of course, we're going to fight for her and worry about those other consequences later. So we made multiple decisions time and time again like that. And her mom and I, through the years, we would always sit back and say, should we have done that? Should we have done that? But when you're faced with the alternative, if you don't, the answer is she's going to die. Right. And so I can say we live with regret every day. But if we wouldn't have taken those steps, we wouldn't have gotten 18 years with her. Looking back now, a little bit over a year of losing her, and we see the pictures and the videos and the memories we have, we wouldn't have had those. We wouldn't have known the person that she grew to be. We wouldn't have been touched and, quite frankly, educated in the world of being able to balance both extreme strength and kindness. And that's what I see from Faith. That's what I took from Faith, is this person that is stronger than I'll ever be in life, and yet also a billion times kinder than I can ever begin to try to be. And how do you bring those both together? We would never have experienced that journey. We wouldn't have witnessed that if we wouldn't have made those hard decisions. We would have lost her sooner. Would we have prevented years of pain and discomfort? Yeah. But I think and this is selfish to say, but I think the loss would have been greater than the cost, because the journey with Faith was so beautiful. It really was. In Faith, there is many times that she would talk with both her mom and I, and one-on-one, and share that there's times when she was down emotionally, and she would say things that she wished that we never would have saved her, that it would have ended sooner, because she was so tired of the pain. She was so tired of the journey. And she was truly afraid of growing up more and starting a life with somebody, because she knew she could never have children. And that wasn't because of fertility, is her body couldn't handle it. She knew that. At 15, she knew she couldn't carry a child. And she was scared about getting into a long-term relationship, even like a normal teenager should, because she knew she couldn't offer them what they were seeking. And we all, her mom and I just talked about this last week, that we all knew she wasn't going to live a full life, but none of us really accepted that it would be this short of life either. And so we were all caught off guard, but I think Faith knew far better than we did. I think Faith really knew that she didn't think it was going to be 18, but I think she really knew that it wasn't going to be 30 either. And I think that as much as she at times regretted the journey because it was so painful and sad to her, she was sad. She was more sad than she was ever angry, because she had this thirst for life, and funny and witty and comical. I mean, she just wanted to live so much, and everybody she lived around and interacted with her, she brought joy to them. So I think she was always caught in this battle of, I wish I would be going through it, but yet I'm having these moments of fun along the way too. So I think, for each of us in our own ways, it was a journey of contradictions. Even after losing her, on one of my many kind of reflection points, it struck me that, I couldn't be mad at, God, the universe, or whatever, that she was gone, because she and I had sat multiple times in hospitals through recovery, literally holding each other's hands as she prayed to be taken, because she was so tired. And so how do you get mad at the universe or God or whatever for taking her, when you had sat with your child and prayed with her that it would happen? Contradiction. The whole journey was an experience of contradiction. So it doesn't change. It hasn't changed, a year later. I guess one thing that I finally settled on is, after 14 months of reflection, the journey both her mom and I went through, watching your child go through all of this, and then quite literally holding her as she died. One would think that you would never do that again, right? Because it's tremendously painful. But the joy of faith, man, I'd sign up for it 10 times over. To get those 13 years again, those 18 years, I'd sign up again and again. It was such a gift to be her dad. She gave me far more than I could ever give her.